y'all? What's good? It's another one of that Say So TV, Kelzo Gang. Back at another one. Today I'm talking about this top 5 traits that LGBT black men have that are raised by single women. I have tapped on this before in a video, my video about the toxic hookup culture in the gay community. I did tap on this for a little bit about basically how single mothers, it was a big thing for single mothers to raise children from the 90s and up. It became way more popular than it ever was. There was a rise of single women raising children. So we are all adults now. And I have encountered a lot of different guys who have been raised by single mothers, not just in relationships, but also my friends, family members, etc. Now, me personally, I was raised by a two-parent household. Well, a two-parent home. I was raised with my papa and his wife. Then I had my own room and my own home at my mom's house as well. So I experienced a single mother, like my mom being a single mother, and a two-parent household with my father. So I had a room at both. I was spoiled as fuck growing up. All right, I had a room at my mom's crib, a room at my at my pop's crib. I would go back and forth depending on however I felt, and we was more convenient. And usually I stayed at my pop's because my pop's was I was way more. I had way more freedom. It felt like I had um, a lot more peace over there, I should say. Now with my mom's side, she would have like certain family members staying with her sometime, and it would be a lot of chaos. Or the men that she would be dealing with, I'd have to witness all the chaos and the toxicity that they was going through. So for the most part, I would stay with my pop's side of the family. However, I do know both experiences. And also, I just wanted to make this video to debunk the stereotypes that are on single or men, black men that are raised by single women. There's a lot of stereotypes, and I want to also address those as well. So, just to get right into it, we're going to go ahead and start off with those, all right? So, now the first one that is a myth with black men raised by single mothers is that they will automatically be gay or flamboyant. That's not true. I know a lot of straight men who have single mothers and they are not gay or flamboyant, or at least I don't know of them to be, you know. But that's a myth. That is not a guarantee. Also, I don't think a lot of single mothers would allow their son to grow up feminine or flamboyant. If they gotta take them to their dad's side or have them around other men in their family or something, I feel like they'll figure something out around that. They really don't like, the homophobia in our community. So I don't feel like that's not as true as they try to make it. All right. Now, number 2 for the myths is, and I only got 3 myths because we know what the stereotypes is, but there's 3 main ones. So the second one I went with, they won't graduate from college or they'll join a gang. I mean, they won't graduate from high school, they'll join a gang or they'll sell drugs or whatever. That is also a myth because I know a lot of guys who come from two-parent households, or they're even spoiled suburb dudes and all shit like that, and they still sell drugs. I don't think that is a across the board thing. Now, I will say that some of these things are going to relate to poverty as well, not just being raised by a single mother. So some of these things will go under both of those, but I'm focusing on the single mothers, okay? Also, number 3. Oh, and just to go back to number 2, the reason why that's not true is because just because you raised by a single mother doesn't mean that mother wasn't raising you with some kind of value. I feel like if you were raised with, I feel like just because she's a single mother don't mean she can't raise you with no value at all. I feel like that comes with the mothers that really didn't have enough time, patience, or energy to raise you with value, that may steer into that route with number two, with selling drugs and not graduating and etc. You know, because I know a lot of good single mothers who's not, they ain't having that shit. You know, they ain't raising no flunkies. All right, so now moving down to number three, the myth. Third myth is they will love or disrespect women. And the reason why I said love or disrespect women is because I've heard people say that they gonna love women because they, or why, or he loved women because he was raised by a single mother, which that is true sometimes. Some men will grow up looking at their mom's grind and struggle, respect her, want to make it easier for her, etc. Right? Then you also have another gay, or not, I'm not going to say gay, but another guy that will be raised by a single mother, and he will actually not respect women because it depends on the mother that you were raised by as well. If your mom was letting niggas beat on her and letting guys disrespect her in front of you, cuss her out, treat her, belittle her, all kind of stuff like that, that may warrant a raising for a disrespectful son, because he'll look at like women don't deserve respect because he never saw a woman really get respect in his household or when he was raised. Um, so it can go either way. You know what I'm saying? So those are the myths. Now we about to get right into the facts, aka the, I ain't gonna say they're necessarily facts, but they will definitely be more common in the man raised by a single mother than it will be for the man raised by a two-parent household. All right. So now, starting off with number one for the most common traits of black men, or LGBT black men as well, but this is actually just gonna go for black men, period, that were raised by single mothers. All right, most common traits, top five. Now, starting off with number one is control issues. All right, the reason why I put control issues on here is because I've noticed that um, a lot of guys raised by single mothers have control issues due to being raised in poverty, also not being attended to. If when you're raised by a single parent, a single mother especially, I've noticed there's a lot of dismissal with their children and avoidance. So they don't acknowledge their feelings, they don't acknowledge their wants, what they say don't go. So basically, like, this is a result of you wasn't paid attention to, or whenever you asked or requested to do something, or for something to go a certain way that you preferred it to go as a child, it was never respected. You never got your way, type shit. This would build a control issue as you get older because you never were in control growing up, so now you're craving this control, and it can come out in toxic ways. You're thinking that it's a thing to protect your feelings and protect you from struggling and not going through what your mother went through or whatever you saw growing up, right? But in turn, it actually kind of pushes you in that direction because with being a control freak, you're going to push a lot of people away, and also it it comes off like it's a defense mechanism. I understand it. It's a defense mechanism for yourself, you know, self-preserving, so that you don't you have everything going right and things are in order, because when you were raised, things were chaotic and nothing was in order, right? So I understand, but it does, without checking it, you will go off into being like OCD and shit. And I just think trying to have control over life when life is really unpredictable and shit, it could cause depression and anxiety. So I think that, you know, it's best to address that shit ASAP, because you can't really control nothing but yourself. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, moving down to number two. They usually have attitudes, like they talk with a slick ass mouth, and disrespectful. Reason why that's on here, that shit is annoying, bruh. Like, I'm still getting used to, like, having noise in my background in my videos, because, like, I'm used to not living downtown and shit. Like, I'm a suburban boy, so I ain't used to living downtown and shit and hearing all this noise. But yeah, excuse me when I have my little rants in the middle of being frustrated with that traffic and shit. But yeah, the reason why that's on here is because the attitude issues, the snappy attitudes and shit, that catty shit, that shit comes from being raised up under women. I noticed that a lot. A lot of dudes that think that it's cute, think that their attitude is something to be accepted, or something that, there's this quote that goes around saying, like, if he ain't complicated, then he ain't worth it, or something. That's y'all trying to, like, justify that shit, and y'all trying to, make that shit like a positive thing, and it's not. Ain't nothing fucking cute about you being complicated and having no snappy ass attitude. Now, if it's in a playful way, then that is cute. You know what I'm saying? But when y'all do that whole little, y'all passive aggressive, y'all get that shit from y'all, that shit's from women too. Okay? That passive aggression, that whole, you don't really speak your mind about what your problem is, but you tripping off of something petty. Pettiness, that's another trait that I noticed that's common with dudes raised by single mothers. So just like the whole snappy attitude, the talking slick, the thinking, kind of talking to a nigga disrespectful and shit, and with that ripe ass tongue, that shit, that's a single mother trait I've noticed. Because when you raised by a single, or when you raised by a two-parent household, you learn and you see that the woman doesn't always, she's not usually overstepping her boundaries like that with the man and just talking to the man however she want. There's usually a level of respect on both sides there in a two-parent household. So I've noticed that a lot. Just getting around my friends and shit growing up, and I see how they mamas talk to dudes and how they talk about dudes. Like, a lot of that comes from y'all hearing niggas ain't shit all y'all's life. Y'all seeing niggas come in and out of y'all's mom's bedrooms. Y'all not really learning a man's ways, and y'all only seeing a man come in and out of a door or a bedroom, or having something negative going on. That will cause this little disrespect, this little subconscious disrespect that y'all be having for men, and I don't even think y'all be realizing it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that, I see a lot of that due to just being raised by women, just the pettiness and the disrespectful tongue, and thinking that the shit's cool or whatever, but it's really disrespectful and it's not cute. You know what I'm saying? All right, so now moving down to number 3. Can't or have a hard time handling their emotions. Okay, usually impulsive, victim mindset, etc. Reason why that's on here is because that shit is very common. A lot of people think that because you're raised by a woman that you would think typically you may be a little bit more emotionally inclined because you're raised by a woman. As a man, you should be more in touch with your feminine side. Well, this goes back to what I've said in plenty of other videos. Y'all are not connected to y'all's feminine side because y'all's mothers weren't either. Okay? Um, being impulsive, being angry and emotional and all that, that's not feminine, y'all. Like, that's not feminine. Okay? Um, so a lot of men have grown up adapting these toxic feminine, or if we're going to call it something, we're going to call it that, or I'm going to call them masculine traits, okay? But I'm not going to call them masculine traits, because even masculine people, or masculinity doesn't operate like that either. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and call that toxic femininity traits, okay? Not being able to regulate your emotions, being overly expressive, being exaggerate, being dramatic, being impulsive, not thinking shit through and just going off of how you feel. These are all, like, yeah, give me some toxic feminine ass traits, okay? usually presented by single mothers because they're the ones that are usually basking in their toxic femininity. Okay. And yeah, because y'all was raised by women, a lot of people would assume that you're connected with your emotions. But I'm sorry to break it to y'all, but real shit, emotions are regulated by both parties, men and women energy, or masculine and feminine energy, because we all have both, right? And also, a man being apart will regulate and check the the victim mindset, the going too extreme into hyper independence and shit. Because with a man around, they gonna let you know, like, hey, you can try to be as independent as you want to be, but you ain't gonna be for real happy, y'all. Independence equals death at the end of the day. We all need somebody. You know what I'm saying? And a man being apart, it reiterates that. You know what I'm saying? But see, with the way that this government then did these women with this welfare shit, making these women live without the men in the home, is then caused this hyper independence. But the only reason why y'all got that mindset is because y'all got the government to take care of y'all. See? So that's the reason why having both parents is a necessity to regulate the emotions and shit in a child, because otherwise you can go to one or other extreme, and like I be saying all the time, too much of anything isn't good. All right, y'all, and a good example of that is, all right, let's say a little boy, let's say you're the little boy on the playground, right, and you fall off the swing and you scrape your knee or whatever. You fall off the screen, you fall, right, as a kid. The mom's first inclination is to come baby you, pick you up. Oh, baby, you okay? You know, comfort you, you know, soothe you. Well, that's good to do. That is necessary, because if you are abandoned and left there without someone coming to your aid, that can be a whole nother issue that we got here. All right. So the reason why it's good for it to be for the man to be around in that circumstance is because when the little boy falls after a while, well, you're gonna have to stop babying him. You know what I'm saying? A man be there, be like, hey, let that nigga get up. He all right. Shit, quit babying his ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because see, with a woman, when y'all be conditioned by women only, and all they do is baby y'all get to this whole, like, that's what creates that victim mindset. Like, you can't handle your emotions. You can't handle, hard times and stuff, because emotions will come in and make you say, well, you're supposed to make another decision or do something else or whatever, because you never learn how to deal with your emotions. You know what I'm saying? So in that circumstance, it's good to have where you got a mother coming to your aid, but not too much and not overly protective. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta feel some pain, you gotta feel some hardship as a child. Because if you grow up and you ain't ever felt nothing, and it's gonna be foreign to you, and then we got a whole nother other domino effect of problems. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just an example right there for that. Like, for instance, if you got a man in your life, they'll tell you, hey, don't make no impulsive decision. Think about this first before you make that decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't jump the gun too soon. Just wait and be patient and peep that shit for a minute before you make a move, because you really don't know if that's what that is yet. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with only women, they'll tell you, oh, leave that nigga alone, bitch. Oh, do this or do that. Like, it's always going off how they feel. It's all about their feelings. It's all about what they feel in the moment. That's instability. That's the reason why men have considered women to be unstable for so many years, y'all. Yeah, you cannot just go based off of everything on how you feel, because you will regret a ton of shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the reason why that one's on here. This is the reason why men in general who were raised by single parents, whether gay or straight, they tend to be very impulsive. They go off of their feelings. They don't process shit through before they do stuff. They don't think about their actions and the consequences to them before they make those decisions. These are all stemming from being raised by a single mom, because see, when you raise with a father in the house, that's what's going to be instilled in you real quick, because men cannot stand to watch that shit happen. We don't even like being in the presence of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you got a man around, they'll go ahead and let you know, hey, quit doing that real quick, because that's not going to get you nowhere. And as a man being unstable, that is not a good look. You know what I'm saying? You got to be rational first. Like, you got to know what you're doing. We got to be responsible at the end of the day. So we can't allow our feelings and shit to make a decision for us in every way. You know what I'm saying? But when you raised by a single mother who her feelings are erratic, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna pass those down to you. All right. So now, oh, and then just to tap on the victim mindset. Yeah. So that's actually what I meant by the gay boys copying off the mom with the victim mindset, thinking that everything is being fucking done to them and that they don't have no fucking power, because women naturally feel kind of powerless in certain situations. When it comes to men, especially, they be feeling powerless, okay? They think everything's being done to them. They usually think, and I'm saying usually, I'm not saying all, but usually, they think that, you know, they ain't at fault for their decisions. Everything's the man's fault. Like women having kids by men who ain't shit, and then they'll say that that's the man's fault. You knew he wasn't shit when you was having babies by him, not the first one that you accidentally had, but the third one, the second and third one. You kept going back. You knew he wasn't shit, and they won't take no responsibility for shit like that, y'all. They think they put all that shit off on the man. You know what I'm saying? So with the gay boy trying to be like his mama, he's gonna be more victim mindseted. Where the straight boy is trying to be like the dad, where he may not adopt the victim mindset, but he don't know what he doing or what to do. So instead of him doing something, he just don't do nothing, because he didn't have a man in his life to tell him how to do this and how to be a man. So instead of him, feeling like, everything is being done to him, he feels as if he's not worthy or he's not nothing. You know what I'm saying? So those are the ways when it comes to just being gay and straight, when it comes to that issue right there and the differences, All right, and then now moving down to number 5. Oh wait, my bad. Number 4. Often feels attacked when communicated to directly, easily intimidated. The reason why I put that on there is because y'all niggas that be raised by women, y'all, when a man talk to you like a man, I've noticed a lot of the times y'all get defensive. Y'all feel attacked. Like a dude could just say straight up like, hey, quit talking to me like that. I don't like being talked to like that. That's disrespectful. Y'all take it like they trying to disrespect you by checking you. A man is going to stand on his shit, and he's going to demand respect. Okay? He's going to demand the things that he's giving you and to be reciprocated. So I'm not talking about men who are disrespectful. I'm talking about men who are respectful and or whatever, and they directly communicate with you. Well, I've noticed a lot of times y'all get suspicious and shit because y'all are used to women who move in a sneaky way. Like, I'll give y'all an example. If, let's say, I'm on the verge of getting ready to break up with somebody, right? As a man, I'm going to tell them, hey, I don't like that you're doing this. I don't like that you're doing that. And if this can't change, we may have to make this decision, or this is the result of that. Okay? A to B, real quick. Women, they tend to do sneaky shit when they get out of relationships because they get conditioned to thinking, oh, he gonna hurt me, he gonna beat me, he gonna try to keep me from leaving, and da-da-da-da, and I gotta protect the kids and all this other shit, right? So instead, they move in sneakier ways. Like, women are more strategic when they do stuff. So they're not really like straightforward, like they're passive aggressive. Like, they're not gonna come, like at work. Like, if you got a lady boss, she'll say, oh, I like your shoes, like they're really nice, and then she'll go and write you up for having on tennis shoes during dress shoe day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just telling you like, hey, we don't wear dress shoes today, this ain't Friday. I mean, we don't wear tennis shoes today, this ain't Friday. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to a man to just come and tell you like, hey, we don't wear those today, so you gotta go home and take them off, or you gotta change, or just don't let me see those again type shit. You know what I'm saying? A dude that's raised by a single mother may feel attacked when being spoken to directly like that. You know what I'm saying? because they not used to that. They not accustomed to that. They accustomed to somebody giving them an attitude and slamming doors and walking around funky and shit all day. They not used to, you know, just somebody just saying what they got to say and speak their mind and moving on with their fucking day, you know? So that's just some examples of that right there. And then I also put competition mindset on this because if y'all haven't noticed that a lot of men who are raised by women, they have this competition about like looks and the superficial shit in life, when real men, masculine energy men who are raised by both parents, tend to not look at it like a competition when it's a couple thing. We look at it like if we both not winning, neither one of us won. I know the single dudes, niggas raised by single mothers, they always have this competition thing with their partners. Like, I've always gotten annoyed with dating certain ones of them just because it's like, nigga, just because somebody said that I look good and they didn't say nothing about your look today doesn't mean that you don't look good. And that doesn't mean that you're supposed to feel some type of way today. Like, I like it when niggas say you look good or people say you look good because that if I that's why I'm with you. I'm attracted to you. I know you attractive. I'm just supposed to expect that to stop because we're together? Nah, like, so also the reason why y'all be having that competition mindset is because y'all's mamas and shit and condition y'all to look out for yourself and be hyper independent. Okay? To where it's like y'all always looking at y'all's like a out, or y'all always got a backup plan for if the relationship don't work. That's why a lot of relationships don't work, you know what I'm saying, with y'all, because y'all always got this little escape, one foot out the door shit. How's something gonna work if you ain't gonna put your all into it? But that's the reason why y'all think like that, is because y'all's mamas and shit taught y'all that, because they was having niggas coming in and out of their door, out of their life all the time, and they done been conditioned to show you that you need to be independent because these niggas you can't count on, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just the circumstance that you was raised in, you know what I'm saying? So because of that, that leads down to number 5 actually, which is hyper independence. I put hyper independence on there, and or actually it's hyper independence or hyper codependence. The reason why that's on there is because y'all can either go either way. And what I noticed is, for the most part, the gay boy is going to go to hyper independence, and the straight boy raised by the single mother is going to go to hyper codependence. Watch how this plays out. I'm about to break this down for y'all, okay? The gay dude goes to hyper independence because he was raised that you can't depend on no man. They come in and out. He never really got to see how a man was or how a man treats a woman, so he don't really know. But based on what his mom tells him, okay? So he adapts this hyper independent because he's trying to be like his mom type shit. So he goes for the hyper independence, okay? The straight boy is going to go to usually hyper codependence. This is why you see a lot of straight dudes staying with their baby mamas or staying with their moms and shit for way past the time they should, because it creates the baby boy syndrome, okay? So because he's not looking at his mom to be like her, he's looking for a man's perspective and a man to look up to, but there's no man around. So where does he go? Into hyper codependence, because he doesn't know what to do or how to do it. Instead of him finding out, usually the average nigga just won't do shit. All right? And that's just facts. They'll feel so defeated, they just won't make no move. They won't do nothing. So they end up giving up being baby boys because they weren't instilled in it, you know? How they say representation matters and it is important. Well, that's why. Because if you don't see it, a lot of men, if they don't know how to do it or if they're not being rewarded by it, they're not going to do anything. All right? So the gay dude goes to hyper independence because he's trying to be like his mom. He's taking after his mom's mindset. Whoop-de-woo, right? So he goes into hyper independence. Plus the whole other gay shit. We know we got to get on our own anyway because ain't nobody getting ready to motherfucking take care of us like that for the most part, you know. But when it comes to, straight men, because they didn't have a man in their life, they don't know what to do because they're not copying off of their mom for the most part. So since they don't know what the fuck to do and there's no fucking idolization there, to look up to. They just don't know what to do and they don't do shit. All right. So, yeah, that is the top 5. Now, I wanted to go ahead and add a bonus one on here real quick. Number 6. All right, bonus number 6. And this one's a key, but it's real shit. And it's always being, I'm always hearing this lately in all the straight lifestyle conversations. Number 6, being raised by a single mother, you will lack traditional values, straight up. Like, I've noticed that all the guys that be in my comments, I bet you 9 times out of 10, who all y'all be talking against me when I be talking about these traditional values like getting married, having kids and shit like that, living together and all that. I've noticed that a lot of y'all that are raised by single mothers, y'all go against it, just like the women who was raised by single mothers, because women are raised to be independent by single mothers. Women and men who are raised by both parent households are raised to be interdependent in a relationship for the family unit and building a home to leave a legacy, etc. Okay? So the reason why the traditional values are still in us is because we seen what works. We seen that it may not be perfect, but we seen how things can go. We know a formula to shit. When you raised by a single parent, a single mom, especially because they didn't get it, they tend to despise traditional values. So they go against them and then they try to make them unnormal and unhumane because they didn't get to experience them, or they were not what they wanted it to be when they did experience it. So they'll deem it as a bad, toxic thing. And that's where all the toxic masculinity comes from. That's where all the sayings of, toxic masculinity and all this other shit, that ain't the case. You motherfuckers just don't know nothing about no masculinity because y'all wasn't raised around none. So y'all deem all masculinity as negative, or y'all are intimidated by it easily. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's it for this one, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. And by the time y'all see this, I should have my video. I'm going to do a live stream here soon. I'm going to do it tomorrow, actually. Friday. I'm going to post it today. Y'all will see that. I'm going to go live Friday, tomorrow, and do a topic. I'm trying to figure out what I should do the topic on real quick right now. So once I figure that out, just be aware to see it. All right. So y'all can hop on my live because I want to talk to y'all and I want y'all to engage on my topics and be able to give me some insight on what y'all think and etc. All right. So stay tuned and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.